Could you tell us a little bit more about the gubernatorial run, like what you learned? Because I'm sure it had to be eye-opening in the sense of potentially learning a little bit more about politics being a bit more dirty or messed up than maybe any of us even knew.
Yeah, it's very dirty, way more than I even knew. I think the best example I could give you is after the election, I had some top reporters reach out from off the record from different news agencies that are very popular in California. The number 1 and the number 3 stations in certain areas. I don't want to give away what areas, but really big stations. Reporters reached out. One of them actually met me for coffee because they just want to be totally off the record. And they said I could talk about this, just can't identify who they are. So it's not like you're giving away secrets. They want the world to know this. And they said they're so frustrated because they would put together reports on the election, and they would have somewhere from the corporate level somebody come in and edit their reports and their transcripts or whatever they're supposed to read. And then they were told, do not change it back. Even if you don't agree with it, read it the way it is. And so One of the examples they gave was they would read things on the air. There is no prominent Democrat running against the Democratic governor in California. And meanwhile, here I am. I'm a registered Democrat. I was registered as a Democrat since 18. I know 50% of people are like, he's a Democrat. Like, I consider myself so in the middle. I hate the label. And honestly, I've gotten very pissed off with the Democratic Party lately. I hate it all. But with that, they would run those labels like there's no prominent Democrat running. Meanwhile, in some polls, I was the top replacement to replace the governor, and they refused to mention me. And so the reporters were saying, Kevin, that was all by design. Gavin Newsom gets them views. Gavin Newsom and them have a thing together. We throw softball questions at Gavin Newsom, the governor, because if we ever ask him hard questions, we'll get a phone call the next day going, hey, we're not doing interviews with you anymore. Then our views go down because we don't get the interview. So we have to cater to the existing politician with softball questions because he's most likely to stay in and he's going to keep getting us views, and we get paid based off views, is what the reporters would tell me. So they would get blatantly censored on their stories. For example, one very briefly was a reporter wanted to report on the fact that U-Haul trucks were unavailable at certain stations in California because everybody's taking them one way out of California and not bringing them back. Yeah. And the manager, the desk manager for this news station said, we're not covering that. You're not running that story, because it makes California look bad during an election cycle. And it's just like, that censorship is real. And so if there's anything that really blew my mind, it's that the game's pretty well rigged. Initially when I got in, I announced my candidacy, my Facebook post announcing my candidacy, my Instagram post got deleted. I thought, okay, maybe benefit of that, maybe it's a fluke. Maybe it's a fluke that I meet all the requirements to get verified on Twitter and I don't get verified on Twitter. Maybe it's a fluke that CNN blatantly lied about our campaign and we had to have an attorney send them a cease and desist letter because they were censoring us. Maybe it's all a fluke. But after the election, when I hear these things from insiders, I'm like, no, it's rigged.